Very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome in today's class. Just tell me if I'm audible and if I'm live. So just a second. Okay, right. So I'm going to teach you CSIR NET on the platform of Unacademy. So let's crack CSIR NET Life Science together. A short introduction about me. I'm Farida Bandookwala and I'm pursuing my PhD in biotechnology at SBT TABB, that is in Indore. And I've done MPhil in biotechnology. I've cleared MP SLED 2018. Then I have a teaching experience of 10 years. So it was about me. Before beginning with the topic of today, that is, we are going to do evolution in series of lectures this month. So before moving to the actual topic, let us have a short introduction about Unacademy. So if you are associating yourself with Unacademy, so what you will be getting in that, you will be getting daily live classes. There will be live classes related to your topic. Then there will be the structured course, like whole syllabus. It will be divided in a very systematic manner. So it will be very much structured. Then there will be live tests and quizzes so that you can always evaluate yourself that how much you have learned so far. So there will be live tests and quizzes, and once you have got the subscription of this Plus platform, you will have unlimited access to all the videos and recorded sessions and quiz exams. So unlimited access is another thing that you will be getting. Uh-oh. So in the free live classes, what are the other benefits? That you can ask your question directly with the faculty member. They'll be very much willing to solve your queries and doubts. So live classes gives a very one-to-one kind of interaction. You can chat with your educator while your educator is taking the class. Meanwhile, you can just ask your query so that there only your doubts and problems will be solved. Then for getting this Plus subscription, you need to pay a certain amount that is like very pocket friendly. For 1 month, it is only 1,890 rupees, and if you are using my subscription code, that is FB01, you will be getting a 10% discount. So do not forget to use my referral code, that is FB01, and just go for Plus subscription, because yes, it is going to help you. You will be always motivated that no, I've got this class to attend at this particular time. Because of this pandemic, what has happened is just so because of this pandemic, what has become with the students that they are like that we cannot do anything sitting at home, and all that kind of feeling has come in them. So whenever you will be going for this Plus subscription, every time you will be getting the notification, update, messages, mails that you are this class is scheduled for tomorrow. So you will be always into that flow that no, I have to study. So this is about the Plus subscription and about your structure course. Now we will be talking about Introduction to Evolution. The topic of today is Introduction to Evolution. This is the topic of today, right? And in this topic, we'll be also talking about natural selection. Natural selection. And in natural selection, we'll be talking about the types. So natural selection and types is the topic of today. I don't know what is happening. Just a second. So, talking about evolution. Evolution. So what is evolution? Evolution is a gradual, so there is some problem with the system today. Evolution. Actually, this is my very first class on this platform. Otherwise, I take classes on other platform of Unacademy. So here, this is my first time, and here I am starting this syllabus from evolution, from evolutionary and developmental biology. So we are going to talk about evolution. So what is evolution exactly? If let us just divide this whole definition of evolution into certain points. So evolution is a gradual. The first thing with evolution is gradual. It's a gradual after being gradual, permanent change. Gradual but permanent change in genome. In what is going to change in evolution? That is the genome. So it is gradual permanent change in genome, and it occurs on the basis of present condition, on basis of present condition. So if we are talking about evolution, we should not forget these things, that evolution is a gradual yet permanent change in the genome of an organism which occurs on the basis of present condition. So in evolution, you should always keep these points in mind. So, okay, gradual, we have understood that suddenly evolution would not occur. Like we have been living on earth and we have been tracing the history since, okay, this is 2020, so we can just say that for approximately 2000 years we are like 100% sure that what was on earth. And previous to that also, this is AD, so previous to this, before Christ area, in BC also we are like quite sure ki, okay, this was the whole makeup of earth. And we haven't come across any sudden evolution that a large creature or a very unknown creature has arose from any other existing species. So the very first point is gradual. The word gradual means that it will occur slowly in the genome level, and it won't appear suddenly. So gradually when it will occur, the organisms will be changing gradually, and suddenly when they will have a specific trait, they will be completely into a different species. Like for example, if we are talking about monkeys, monkeys, they are going to develop some small changes. The monkeys which are okay living in a particular area on this earth, they gradually adapt to the environment. So what will happen if they are adapting to that environment in the very first generation? It is not so that they will be completely different from the other monkeys and they will have a reproductive gap. They will be capable of reproducing in the first generation, second generation. Then when these changes, they will be profound, they will be high, then the whole species will change. When they won't be able to reproduce, then the species will change. So the change will be gradual, but the change should be permanent. For evolution, the change should be permanent. And this change, where is it going to occur? The first place where it is going to occur is in genome. After being occurred in the genome, it can be taken into the physiological or phenotypic expression. Previously, for the very first time, it will appear in genome. Genome might change. My genome might change. Maybe it is not visible from outside, but my genome might change, and on accumulation of these changes in the coming generation, there might be some evolution. So that was just an example. Now it will occur on the basis of present condition. So whenever there is a change in an organism, it will be because of the present condition. It won't be something like, okay, I'm living in a very hot area and I'm developing thick fur. I'm developing thick hair on my body. No, that is not normal, that is not the evolution. That might be a kind of, if something like that is happening, that might be kind of some deteriorative mutation, but that won't fall under evolution. Evolution will be on the basis of present condition. Like if something is happening, it should have some kind of meaning to it. If my hair are becoming lesser from my body, so that is like kind of adaptation towards the environment. So that is the criteria of evolution: gradual permanent change in the genome on the basis of present condition. So this is evolution. Now, no living organism can survive in isolated condition. It is always surrounded by some other organism. What are we going to mean by this? If we are saying organism X, this organism X cannot live in isolated state. Is it possible for us to live in an isolated condition? Like we are humans. We have the knowledge of procuring food, we have knowledge of cooking, we have so much of knowledge. So is it possible for me also at this particular stage to spend life isolated? No, that is not normal. So any kind of organism, talk about bacteria, talk about fungus, talk about algae, talk about any organism, that organism cannot live isolatedly. So that is the thing. So why we are saying that it cannot live isolated, and why we are saying that there is a mutual dependency of organisms on each other? Why are we talking about this mutual dependency? Because whenever there will be evolution, that will be in coordination with the other organisms which are actually surrounding us. Like for example, my food likings are to be frugitarian. I'm just a frugitarian. But there is some organism in my environment who is more capable of procuring fruits from the trees. So I will have to shift my focus from fruits to vegetables or grains or pulses or whatever is available in that environment. So that is how the condition or the environment, depending on the organisms, there will be evolution. So no living organism can survive, can evolve in the isolated condition. It is always surrounded by some neighboring organisms or other organisms, right? So this was the introduction. Now let us talk about evolutionary biology. Evolutionary biology. What do we mean by the term evolutionary biology? The study of the aforesaid aspects of biology is called as evolutionary biology. So, study of aforesaid aspects of biology. Study of aforesaid aspects of biology is evolutionary biology. So, it is also called as bioevolution. The another term is bioevolution. Bioevolution. Now, if we are defining the term evolutionary biology, that it is a study of aforesaid aspects of biology, we should also know that who gave this term, because always we should give the reference and citation. We know that that is so important. So, who gave this term? Actually, it was given by Mayer. It was given by Mayer, and it was given in the year 1970. The term evolutionary biology or bioevolution was given by Mayer in year 1970. Right? So now this evolution. This is an introductory class. So we are talking about all these things. So if we are saying evolution, so this evolution, on what aspects this evolution is going to depend. Is it going to depend on abiotic factors, or it will be depending on biotic factors? On what is it going to depend, this evolution? So abiotic and biotic factors, they both affect evolution. So evolution, abiotic factors, abiotic factors and biotic factors. Biotic factors. Both of the things, they are going to together affect the evolution. So what all things comes under abiotic factors we know very well. That is temperature, then rainfall, then soil. By soil, what do we actually mean by soil? If we are talking about higher organisms which are not directly dependent on soil for food, like if you're not talking about plants or some kind of soil microflora, then why are we saying soil is still? Because soil is going to affect the cultivation of that particular area. So that is like related to each and every organism that ways. So soil. Then the presence of herbivores, carnivores, biotic factors, presence of herbivores or carnivores. So if the environment is completely made up of herbivores, the newly evolving organism will try to look for a carnivore kind of approach, because now already this competition is consuming the herbivorous food. So there would be evolution in that direction. So evolution is actually dependent on abiotic and biotic factors, and abiotic factors, temperature, rainfall, soil, and other things, humidity, then some other factors like um, moisture content of that particular level. All those things will come under abiotic factors. And for biotic factors, the presence of types of organism in that particular area, what kind of organisms are actually in that particular area. So now talking about evolutionary evolution basically. So evolution, what is it basically? Basically it is change in the generation which is accumulated. So evolution is basically change or variation. The change or variation which which accumulate in generation after generation level, in generation after generation. So what are we going to say, or what are we understanding from this? That okay, evolution is a change or variation, but the most important thing is that it should accumulate in generation after generation. It should not be erased out from one generation. It should be present in the coming generation. Now we are going to talk about the reason of changes in genome over time. That why does all these changes occur? Why is the need of evolution? Why evolution actually occurs? So reason of changes in genome, in genome over time, in genome over time. This is the thing. So what are the reasons of changes in genome over time? So first is recombination. We are going to talk about each. So first is recombination. Second is arrangement of chromosome at metaphase plate. Arrangement of chromosomes at metaphase plate. Then what is the next? It is independent assortment. Independent assortment. Then next is genetic drift. What is next? So those who are attending the class live, they can write in the chat box that they are understanding the thing, what I am trying to tell them. Next is mutation. Then Lastly, natural selection. Lastly, natural selection. So these are the points which are the reasons of changes in genome over time. So first is recombination. Recombination, it occurs all the time. It keeps on occurring all the time. It occurs all the time in our gonads, in our germinal epithelium. But the thing is that its time is fixed. That whenever a cell will undergo any kind of division, it will, like if it is performing meiotic division, it will undergo recombination, right? So recombination, okay, fine, it occurs in the cells, in the germinal cells, but it is a stage specific. Then arrangement of chromosome at metaphase plate. So what is this arrangement of chromosome at metaphase stage? Let me take pen. So these are the chromosomes. Just take the example of 3. These are the chromosomes present on the metaphase plate. Now they are actually like this. Now if they are joining with each other, they are coming close with each other, and in the chromosomes there is exchange of the chromatids. There is exchange of chromatids. So for say this is chromosome number 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So only in this first one there is some kind of shuffling. So that is the arrangement of chromosomes. There is the arrangement of chromosomes on the metaphase plate. It will actually decide that these sister chromatids, they are going to separate or they are not going to separate. So this arrangement of chromosome at metaphase plate is very, very important. That how they are arranging themselves, whether they are arranging in a systematic manner, like for example, if these all chromosomes, they are from this is from father, this is from mother, this is from father, and here then it will be from mother, then this will be from father, and this will be from mother. So when there will be some kind of shuffling, there will be like so many exchanges and so many combinations that there will be change in the whole genome. So arrangement of chromosome at the metaphase plate is also very important for incorporating these changes. Then independent assortment. Now if chromosome number 1 is exchanging one of the arm and second one is not exchanging any arm, so that is like independent. It is not linked that chromosome number 1 is going to behave like chromosome number 2 and chromosome number 2 is going to behave like chromosome number 3. No, they are not going to behave in a similar manner. They are going to behave in a very different manner. So that is the independent assortment. Then genetic drift. Yes, we are going to talk about genetic drift in detail in the upcoming lectures this month only. But for now, you can just remember, suddenly in a population, when large number of members, they die or they move away from that particular place. So it leads to genetic drift. So maybe it is because of death, sudden death of a large organisms, or migration. So that will come under drift. And mutation, we know that is the sudden change. Suddenly something has occurred. That is mutation. And natural selection. So we'll study Darwinism and natural selection in detail. And in today's class I have kept this natural selection also. So we'll be talking about natural selection and types of natural selection now only. So can you see from this picture? So here. Yeah. So can you see from this picture that from point number 1 to point number 3, they are linked with meiosis, recombination, arrangement of chromosome at metaphase plate, or independent assortment. These all things are related to meiosis. Right? And they occur at a fixed time in a particular stage. So we know that recombination, arrangement of chromosome at metaphase plate, and independent assortment, these all things are going to occur at a particular point of time in the cell cycle. So what we can say that for all these things there is fixed time, fixed time and there is a fixed age, right? And from point number 4 to 6, that is genetic drift, mutation and natural selection, they are not fixed. They are unfixed and they can occur at any time in any kind of condition. So it's not fixed, not fixed at all, right? So these are the reasons of changes in genome over time. Right now, talking a little bit about types of evolution, as this is our introductory class. So let us talk about a little about evolution. That is the type of evolution. So the thing that we are going to talk is types of evolution. Types of evolution. So what are we going to talk about? Talk in types of evolution. First is microevolution, and second is macroevolution. Macro Microevolution and macroevolution. So first of all, talking about microevolution, what is this microevolution? Changes which are at a very small level. Changes at very small level. So what is this very small level? What is this? The small level. So changes which are actually occurring in alleles. Changes which occur in the alleles are actually microevolution. So for every protein, there will be two copies of alleles, and these two copies of alleles, one is coming from father and one is coming from mother, they together form gene. So a complete gene will be made up of two alleles. Two alleles. Two alleles makes one gene. So the changes which occur if there, for example, in my body, one for a particular protein, one of the allele is changing. Just one allele. Still, I have two alleles for a particular gene. Like for eye color, I have black eye color. So if allele of the eye color from the two alleles, one from father and one from mother, one of the allele it changes, then it will be under the heading of microevolution. So allele change will come under microevolution. If one of the allele it changes in a gene, it is almost unnoticeable. It is almost unnoticeable. Obviously, if one of the allele is changing, how would it be actually be noticed? Because there is one more form of the allele. So if it is bringing a very different kind of allele, like if I have a black color eye gene and suddenly it is expressing a blue color, it won't be noticeable because I have a working black color allele also. So it won't be exactly noticeable at that particular time. Now, if both of the allele they change, then they will be visible. So these evolution, they will proceed from microevolution. They will start from microevolution. From allele, the change will migrate towards gene level. From allele, the change will now move towards the gene level. When the gene has been affected, what it is called as chromosome has changed. So it will move to the chromosome level. From chromosome, it is going to affect the cell. So it is called as cell level. Then from cell, it is going to affect the tissue. So it is called as tissue level. From tissue, it is going to um, acquire the whole organ. If there is one cell which is changing, okay, cell level. If many cells they are changing in a tissue, tissue level. And if many tissues in the organ they are changing, organ level. And now the organ, if whole organ has changed and there is the development of some other organ and there are 2-3 organs which are actually different from the original species, from the starting species, there will be change in the organism, and this organism change will finally lead into change into population, because that organism is going to reproduce and it is going to pass on this change. So these are the levels of evolution. So levels of evolution. Levels of evolution. From allele level to gene level to chromosome level to cell level to tissue level to organ level to organism level, and then when it is going to reproduce, and if that particular change is favorable according to the environment, is going to grasp whole population, right? Now, evolution. What is the driving force of evolution? Let us move into that. That okay, we are saying evolution is occurring and this and that. So what is the driving force of evolution? Driving force of evolution. What is the driving force of evolution? So natural selection is the driving force of evolution. What is the driving force? That is the natural selection. Natural selection. How? How is this natural selection affecting evolution? So see, if there is a population, and in that particular population, let us imagine there are 5 members, and in these 5 members, um, 3 of the members, they develop a trait which is making their survival a little difficult for them, and 2 of them, they develop a characteristic or a change which is making them very comfortable with that changing environment. Like if pollution is increasing, and the oxygen efficiency or lung power of those people who are actually asthmatic, they won't be comfortable in this lots of pollution, but those who are actually having a better lung capacity, they will be quite not comfortable, but they will be capable of acquiring a required amount of oxygen, right? So, what is the nature going to favor? Or themselves, what is going to be favored? Those who are having compromised lung capacity will have a lesser oxygen level, their survival will be lesser, and their survival will be difficult, isn't it? They will have to face lots of challenges. So that is the natural selection, that if a particular um, member or members of a population are showing some special characteristic which is making them more benefited or more privileged amongst the other members, that is the natural selection. So I hope you have understood the point. So evolution, driving force of evolution is natural selection. So natural selection, is it so that just now the natural selection will occur, just suddenly the carbon dioxide level goes very high, so is it so that immediately natural selection will occur? No. Natural selection is also a very step by step process. So evolution itself is a step by step process, step by step. So it won't occur in a one generation, it is going to occur slowly in the upcoming generation. So due to various type of stresses, the evolution they occur. So the basic source or basic driving force of evolution is what? Stress, or in a very refined way, in a better way, what we can call it. In a very better way, we can call it limiting resources. Limiting resources. If the resources are limiting, resources are lesser, then what is going to happen? The evolution will move in a direction where the organism is capable of its survival in the limited resources. So limiting resources is again one of the driving force of evolution. Then what all things can come under these limiting resources? What all things? The very first thing which can come under limiting resources is food. Food is the major place where the fight occurs. So food, water, then habitat on niche, or area which they can actually inhabit for their survival, their nesting, these all things will come under limiting resources. So food, shelter, and clothing. So if we are talking about normal organisms other than humans, clothing will not come. Food and shelter, these two things will actually uh, be the limiting resources. So food comma shelter. These are the limiting resources which actually derive the force of evolution. Right. Now, what is going to happen in the limiting resources? If resources are limiting, how is it going to derive the evolution? Why the evolution will occur? Because there will be competition between the individuals. They will have competition amongst themselves for food and for shelter, and this will lead to evolution. So limiting resources, food and shelter, they will actually in the end lead into competition. Competition will cause the limited resources to be of higher value. So whichever sect will be weaker in grasping food or grasping shelter will be actually eliminated, or we can say isolated, and the sects which are which are actually capable of acquiring food and shelter in a very dynamic manner, in a very stronger manner, that particular sect will actually flourish. So this is the thing. So reproductive advantage they will get because they will be having lots of food and shelter for themselves, and they are uh, quite sure that they'll be getting food and shelter, so they will have more chances of reproduction. So they will have reproductive advantage, and this reproductive advantage makes them more dominant in that area, and this is how a new population will arise. And in that population, after some time, some other kind of limiting resource will play the role, and like this the evolution will keep on going. So when the resources are limiting and a particular sect is capable of acquiring food and shelter in a very profound manner, they will have a better chances of reproduction. So this is called as reproductive advantage. Right. So this was whole introduction about evolution which I wanted to give you. Now we are going to move towards natural selection. That is the second thing of today's lecture. So that is natural selection. Natural selection. Right. So the term is very common. We have come across this term many a times. Natural selection. If nature is selecting certain organism for their particular characteristics, that is natural selection. And if we are selecting some of the fungus on the petri plate or a particular kind of bacteria from a petri plate, that is artificial selection. So natural selection, nature is selecting. Okay, this particular sect of people, they are resistant to coronavirus or COVID-19, fine, they will survive. And those people who are already quite compromised in their immune potential, they will be highly affected with the virus and they will be eliminated out. So kind of natural selection. Those who are capable of developing the antibodies and capable of fighting with the virus with not that much sufferings, and okay, they will just have a blast of virus in their body and then they can recover. So that is a kind of natural selection. So natural selection we have understood. Now let us talk about differential selection. Differential selection. Differential selection. So what is this differential selection or differential survival? This is the thing, that what is this differential survival? So when an individual having a very special trait can survive better in the environment as compared to the other people, their offsprings will inherit that particular quality and they will also survive better. So this is differential selection or differential survival of that particular individual's genes, because that particular individual, he survived well in the environment. Very good. Now the upcoming generations of these organisms, they are also capable of surviving this environment. So this is differential survival. So let us just have a flow chart of this thing, differential survival. So it starts with an individual. It starts with an individual. Then this individual will have special traits. Special traits. Now these special traits, because of these special traits, they can survive better in the environment. Because of special traits. Because of special traits, they can survive better. They can survive better in the environment. Better in environment. Now, if they can survive themselves, they can survive better. Obviously, they will produce healthy offspring which have now inherited the trait from their parents. So offsprings will also inherit the trait, and there will be lot many offspring from that individual. So offsprings will inherit the trait. Will inherit the trait. So this is natural selection. Now let us talk further. So how this all can be said in a better way. So also it can be said in this way, that survival of individual in an environment to which it is well adapted. Adaptations are controlled by genes and genes are heritable. So this is the differential survival. So due to differential survival, now due to differential survival, what is going to happen? Reproduction would be differential. Now the word differential you should understand. Due to differential survival, reproduction will be differential. Reproduction will be differential. That is, now the whole population, they are not getting the whole chances of reproducing. There is differentiation. They are not capable of reproducing with that vigor with which it should. Some of the people, they are getting the advantage of better reproduction. So reproduction would be differential, and thus when the reproduction would be differential, if a particular sect is getting more chances of reproduction, the alleles which are present in those individuals will increase. Thus the allele frequency will also differ. Now for example, just a very simple example. Imagine there is a population of 10 members, and there are 6 members having blue color eye gene and 4 members that are having black color eye gene. And those who are having blue color eye gene, they cannot um, have a proper vision in sunlight. They have some kind of difficulty to have a clear vision in sunlight. And the 4 individuals which are having black eye color gene or black eye color, they can see very clearly in dark as well as in high bright sunlight. So this, what will happen, that they will have some kind of advantage from those 6 members, and that will also make them more better matches for the female having blue color eye gene, because they won't be going for the blue color eye gene male partner, but they'll be going towards the black color eye gene male partner, eye color gene male partner, because this is in the genome that we tend towards the genes which are more efficient in the work, though whatever we call it, but yes, that is the inclination in the gene. Will be more inclined towards those people which are more capable of survival in adverse situations. So females, they'll be tending towards the black color eye gene males, or the black color eye gene males will be tending towards, they'll be tending towards the black color eye gene female only, but vice versa. So this will happen. So they will have this advantage of reproduction. So whenever this will happen, there will be change in the allele frequency, and which is needed for survival for the next generation. Which is needed for survival of next generation. So this is the differential survival which we have learned. Now coming to the exactly types of natural selection. In natural selection, we are going to talk about the types. So there are three major types. First is directional. First is directional. Second is stabilizing. Third is disruptive. Directional, stabilizing, and disruptive. So first of all, let us talk about directional, and we'll be also drawing a graph for this. So directional, if we are just let us draw a graph over here in a normal situation, how the graph of a population will look like. See, it's going to look like this, and this y-axis and this x-axis, what does they tell us over here? So y-axis is about the frequency of occurrence, and the x-axis tells us about the phenotype, right? So frequency and phenotype, and this middle line is the mean. This is the mean, and this is the original distribution. Original distribution. This is the original distribution. Now, whenever we are talking about a directional selection, what is it going to look like? This is a population, and this much portion of the population is actually showing a difference. Now what will happen? The mean will shift. The mean is going to shift from that particular mid to the other mid, like this. It is going to shift. So this is directional. Individual at one end of the frequency distribution, they do very well. You can see over here. They are doing very well. And thus, now their number will increase. Frequency distribution trait will shift in the next generation. In the next generation, the mean will come closer to that particular set which is having the better trait. So this is the directional. So one of the example is industrial melanism. So what was this industrial melanism? There were these moths which were actually light colored initially, but because of the pollution, there were some of them which were black. So the whole shift was towards the black, because black, they were getting this advantage of just getting into the black environment. The predators were unable to catch them properly. So black, they were capable of hiding quite in a better way. So that is how it became directional. So frequency distribution of trait shifts in the next generation. So example is industrial melanism. Industrial melanism. So we are going to talk about the features also over here, and we'll be talking about stabilizing and disruptive in the next slide. So here let us talk about the features of this directional natural selection. So whenever there will be the environmental changes in the one direction, so environmental change is getting very extreme, so it will actually be directional. So environmental changes in one direction. Then other feature, it favors an extreme phenotype. As you can see from this first graph, it is favoring extreme phenotype. Favors extreme phenotype. So that is not a normal one. That is not the average one, but extreme one. Like in a population of short and talls and averages, just the shorter are preferred. So it favors the extreme phenotype. Then population, it will move in one particular direction. If they are preferring just short, so that will be preferred, and that particular type of feature will keep on increasing in the coming generation. Then So mutation, it will also occur in the direction which is actually favoring them, and it will eliminate the average individual. As you can see from this graph, this is for the average one. So it will eliminate the average one. Eliminate average one. Eliminate average individual. Eliminate the average individual. So this we have read about directional. Let us talk about stabilizing. Stabilizing. So how the graph of stabilizing is going to look like? See, it's not going to look very different than the initial normal, but it will become a more steeper or more peaker with a very narrow peak. So I should have. So these are the two extremes. So now the word itself is saying stabilizing, right? Stabilizing. So can you see that the extremes are eliminated out? Extremes are not even included in the stabilizing. The extremes are not preferred. Extremes from the both of the ends, they are eliminated. Pen. Yeah. So extremes are eliminated. Most important thing. Extremes are eliminated. Then frequency distribution looks same, like it looks almost similar. There is no major difference in the graph. Then the birth, then the example, like there we saw industrial melanism. Here the example is birth weight. Birth weight. So babies with a very low birth weight and with very high birth weight, they both are not preferred. Why? Because with very low birth weight, they have high mortality, and with very high birth weight, mother mortalities are common. So birth weight, it should not be very less and it should not be very high, but it should be stabilizing one. So stabilizing, word itself is saying stabilizing. It will become stable. That it is not going to be like, okay, we are preferring only heavier babies. No, that is like not good for the mother of the child. So, and with high birth weight, obesity, and many other things are also associated. So, stabilizing one. So, what are the features of stabilizing natural selection? Features that it occurs in a stable or constant environment. Genetically, population remains constant. Average phenotype is preferred, and homogeneity in the population is introduced. The population will become homogeneous. They won't have lots of extremes in that environment, and no major mutation is accumulated because it is not extreme. It is just like preference of the average. So no major mutations will be accumulated in the stabilizing one. Then lastly, it is disruptive. Disruptive natural selection. So in disruptive, the word itself is telling, and let us have a look at the graph that how it is going to look like. This is the original distribution or normal distribution. Now how is it going to look like? It is going to look like this. Is going to look like this. So can you see from here that the average are eliminated out. Averages are just completely ignored. So that's why it is called as disruptive. There is disruption. The whole average thing is going down, and there are two other traits which are flourishing. So both of the extremes are favored and averages not favored at all. And this is also called as diversifying natural selection. And what is the example? Example is the color pattern of butterfly. Uh, in the butterfly, that is one of the example is Papilio Darnadus. So it is diversifying and only the extremes will be preferred. And what are the features of disruptive natural selection? Homologous population breaks into different adaptive forms. So this is a homologous population, this first graph. And now it is dividing into two adaptive forms or two different forms. So extremes are better and they are having high survival rate in disruptive natural selection. So in disruptive, remember extreme. In stabilizing, remember the average. And in directional, only one type of extreme will be done. So it is very easy to remember. Let us go back to the first page. Yeah, directional, just one of the trait, one of the extreme trait will be preferred. In stabilizing, no extremes will be preferred. And in disruptive, only and only extremes will be preferred. So there will be two different sets, right? So this is how we have covered today's topic, that is introduction to evolution and natural selection and types of natural selection. So this is it for today's class, and let's crack CSIR UGC NET. So UGC NET, that too our life science, right? So CSIR UGC NET life science, and this month we'll be talking about evolution. So we'll be covering this unit, that is evolution, in the syllabus of CSIR life science. So lastly, do not forget to hit the bell icon for getting the notifications, and if you haven't subscribed our channel, just subscribe our channel, that is Let's Crack CSIR UGC NET. And please like my video if you have learned something from it or you have enjoyed understanding the concepts. Lastly, please do not forget to use my referral code, that is FB01, for getting a 10% discount. So do not forget to use my referral code, that is FB01. And this is it for today's class. We'll be meeting tomorrow with some other interesting topic of evolution. Mostly in the next class, we will be talking about speciation. We'll be talking about speciation, mechanism and its type. So just be there, share this video with your friends, ask them to watch so that they can also be benefited, and ask your friends to come live for the live class. And you people also can ask your questions and queries while the class is going on live, so that it can be very much helpful for you to get your doubts and queries solved at that particular point of time. Please share it with your friends, and come back tomorrow for one more interesting lecture in the series of evolution. We are going to talk about speciation, mechanism and its type. So we'll be covering this unit. So this is for now, and whichever topic you want to study in the syllabus of CSIR NET life science, just write in the chat box, so that whenever I'll come on my video, I'll just check your comments and I'll try to take up those topics. So this is it for now. It's a bye from my side. Have a very good day.